The Texas Longhorns.
All right, Texas. What a disappointing loss that was to Oklahoma State for Longhorn fans, because you got the sense after some of their play with Quinn Ewers at quarterback that this team had the ability to go out and win all their games. And listen, they do. Listen, that's still a really good team. And it's still, at least by any metric that you throw out there, is much better than their 5-3 record. Let's not forget that this is a team that was unranked to start the year. They have at one point been in my top 10. And by the way, all four of these at some point this year have been in my top 10. Okay, so that's what kind of ties them all together. That's the glue that binds these four teams. And Texas was in the top 10 for me at one point. Remember, I saw that game against Bama. We all did. And they played right with them, toe-to-toe. And save for a missed tackle or two and an injury, that game might have gone the different direction. And they played them as well as Tennessee did. I think that we could all agree with that. And Tennessee made those couple of plays and won, and good on them, by the way. And Texas didn't and lost. But now they're 5-3. So you get the sense like, oh, here we go again with Texas. Here we go again in year two of Steve Sarkisian when they blow another double-digit lead. Now, albeit this one was from early in the game, but in every one of these losses that they've had this year, they've been at least tied or leading at some point in the fourth quarter. Remember, their Tech loss actually went to overtime. So they're closer than I think a lot of people want them to be. And this is still a team that I believe is not only going to win a lot of games through the course of the end of the year, but will win most of their games during the course of the end of the year. So at 5-3, you look at the rest of their schedule, and it's pretty easy to say, yeah, they're going to win at least 2, 3, maybe even all of them. Here's what they have coming up. They're at Kansas State. Not saying that's going to be easy. They're TCU at home. Not saying that's going to be easy. By the way, that's the Big 12. Every single week, you're going to have to play your best in order to win. And then they've got Kansas on the road. And I know what everyone's going to say is like, well, hey, Kansas has their number. Yeah, maybe. And then Baylor at home. So not easy. And could they go 2-2? Yes. Could they go 1-3? Yes. If things don't go well. Could they go 4-0? Yes, they could. So what's holding them back? What's the problem with Texas this year? Why are they 5-3 with all this talent in Sarkisian's second year? Details. Little things. Little details are holding them back right now from being 7-1, 6-2. And it's really easy to see that. In their 3 losses, they've lost by a total of 7 points. Okay, you had the missed corner blitz against Bryce Young. Obviously, some officiating goes the other way, and that game could have been a win for Texas. Bijan Robinson, who doesn't generally put the ball on the ground and is one of the best backs in the country, fumbles in overtime at Tech. And they ended up losing the game. I mean, wild. And then this last week, what was it, 14, 15 penalties to 0? Now, granted, there were a couple of flags thrown on Oklahoma State, and they were not taken. So that's why the stat sheet is going to say no penalties. There were a couple of flags thrown on Oklahoma State, but they were never accepted. But having said that, at the end of the game, I'm watching this, and here's Quinn Ewers, not a runner, runs, I think it was like a 45, 50, 55-yard run late in the fourth quarter, holding, right? So you are inches away from a 7-1 team, 6-2 easy, 7-1, maybe even 8-0. So that's why I'm not quite as worried, is because Texas needs to correct small issues. The devil is in the details for Steve Sarkisian and this team. Now, I will tell you that I'm a big believer that, and we used to have this sign up when I played at Colorado, we used to have this sign up, and a lot of teams still do. They have this sign that it's like, greatness is realized through the attention to details. And I think that probably stands the test of time, and it doesn't matter if it's football or if it's in the business world. Anywhere you go and anywhere you're trying to achieve something great, You can say that. Greatness is realized through the attention to details. And right now, Texas is falling just a little bit short. I think they're actually better and closer on the detail side than they were a year ago. So I'm seeing small growth, but it has to be frustrating for a fan base that feels like they've got the talent to be 7-1 or 8-0 and on the precipice of a Big 12 title and maybe even a playoff berth. And here they are sitting at 5-3. And you think to yourself, here we go again. I just don't think it's going to be here we go again for Texas. Small things that can and will get corrected. Remember now, do you really think Quinn Ewers is going to continue to play that poorly? See, I don't. I remember vividly what it was like to start for the first time on the road, in particular in league play. And it's hard. It's hard. My first start was at Kansas State against a very good Kansas State team that went on to win the Big 12 championship and beat Oklahoma that year. Darren Sproles was on that team. Terrence Newman was on that team. Like they had a really good football team. And I will tell you that felt wild for the first time as a quarterback to go out there on the road. So do I think he's going to play as poorly as he did last week against Oklahoma State? No, I don't. I think that those are the natural maturation process. Those are the natural lumps and bruises that you've got to go through as a quarterback to come out the other end. Quarterback is a lot of trial by fire. It's very rare that you get a guy that just goes out there, starts, and in his first year is brilliant. You know, guys like that are like Jameis Winston, won Heisman in his redshirt freshman year. That doesn't happen all the time. Now, is it just me? I've got people out there, and I know that some of you think they're like, oh, Joel's just a Texas apologist. But it's not just me. When you actually look at some of these like more analytical stat categories, like the FPI, like the Sagarin rating, they'll show you that Texas is way closer to 6-2, 7-1, 8-0 than they are 5-3. Texas right now in the FPI is 6th in the country. Texas right now in the Sagarin rating is 11th in the country. So by all the metrics, it's like this team is very good. They're 5-3. It's probably the worst that they should be at this point in the season. And if they correct some of those small details, you're probably going to see a team that ends up with 8, 9, maybe even if they run the table and win a bowl game, 10 wins. And then obviously that would be a huge success in Sarkisian's second year. They also, by the way, and this is a big one, they have answers to this, right? You can develop your quarterback. He can get better. They have answers at that position, which is very important, and I'll get into that as we go on in this podcast.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.